The NFL thought, okay, they had a Christmas Day home run.
Banger.
Absolutely. And how could you not? I think when it came out, I think we were all like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the Kansas City Chiefs, that's going to become a new Christmas tradition. They're red. Andy Reid, pretty holly jolly himself, in the home of the Chiefs. Can only say that for 5 more years.
Uh-oh.
They're moving.
Yikes.
That's big news right now.
Arrowhead Stadium.
Oh,
Whoa.
I didn't mean to do that.
Arrow almost. Please. We still got 5 more years.
Good point.
This isn't until 2031. We're certainly going to piss everybody off now, and we're going to have to live through it for the next 5-6 years. But yeah, we're moving right across the road. We're going to Kansas. Yeah, Kansas City, one of those funny city names that it's 2 of them in 2 different states. One of them not being Kansas, and the other one turns out in Kansas. They're moving over to Kansas.
That's right.
And Kansas said, you know what? Welcome home, Kansas City Chiefs. That's what they said. You know what we're going to give you? Whatever you want.
Everything.
Here's $3 billion. You guys can keep the tickets and the merch just like you. Yeah, it's a good little deal. All we're going to do is we're going to pay for this in star bonds. Okay, I did a little research on this. I'm not a big bond stock market guy. Would rather bet on something you're in control of as opposed to some. But it sounds like people do really well over there. Star bonds, I guess, are a type of loan from the state, okay, that'll be paid for by, they're saying, the taxes on what is generated from it. So I believe what is happening over there with this $3 billion investment and the Chiefs moving from Missouri over to Kansas is they're going to build one of those super duper Kansas City Chiefs worlds.
Chiefs time.
This could be Chiefs time. It's Kansas City Chiefs time. That is in Kansas now. So we're going to have restaurants. I assume there's going to be some sort of museum or Hall of Fame for the Kansas City Chiefs, let alone with all the history with Clark Hunt. And we saw in the Chiefs documentary, they're literally, underground pulling shit out his desk or something like that. I feel like they're probably going to make this a attraction. They're going to try their best to have their own version of a Lambo-type operation that takes place over there in Green Bay. So I think what the state of Kansas is betting is that all the business that's going to come through, we're going to be able to get that money back without taking any of the revenue from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, immediately upon seeing that, you go, wow, the state of Kansas just got hosed. This feels like taxpayers are, really just kind of begging. Like, what's going on? Life is okay whenever they were over there in Missouri. What's going on here? So why would you make that deal? But it feels like the state of Kansas is trying to make a bet on the fact that they're going to be able to bring in enough to be able to pay this off. Now, granted, those taxes, once they start, do you ever turn them off? I don't think any government's ever done that, right? So I think once you see a flow of income coming, you're probably going to keep that. So does that end up affecting the rest of the state and the taxpayers? I don't know enough about the situation, but I will say taxpayers will certainly feel it. And if they don't win, and this doesn't, if they go back to being not good.
Oh, boy.
They're not, because they have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And it's indoors.
They do have a dome, so, they'll be able to have a lot of great events. I mean, Taylor Swift concert in Kansas.
Sure.
That might have been what it really was.
Could have been.
That might have been the entire draws. Taylor Swift needs to be coming to Kansas. That's what we need her to be. And that's a big deal, I think, if you talk business-wise, especially when she's going to have a restaurant. Oh, there's a chance.
Yeah, Taylor.
I mean, 1587.
Oh, it's already, it's already there.
Yeah, Kelsey and Mahomes's. Boom.
Yeah,
there you go.
We got a plate from their place, downtown Kansas City, I believe, Missouri. Okay, so this would be going into Kansas City Chiefs. Dahn, I believe. Yeah, KC Mo right there, KC Mo.
Yep.
Good run.
5 years, they got Wagyu in there.
Yeah, 5 years, but all they're thinking about is
Can't wait to get to Kansas City.
this is going to be so much better in Kansas.
In Kansas City, Chiefs Town. Nonetheless, we appreciate a new stadium coming in. We hope that the fans don't feel like they got completely screwed in this, but there's going to be people pissed. And it's certainly going to be a change of things that we're not going to be in the home of the Chiefs that we've come to know, but it feels like that's going to change. Good for them, but they are the nightcap for our Christmas NFL lineup.
Earlier in the week, the Chicago Bears basically announced that they're going to Gary, Indiana. That situation with Arlington Heights is up in the air, a lot of question marks, but something that is kind of concrete now is Kansas City going to Kansas starting in the year 2031, hopefully. What do you think about this? Kansas City, middle of the dynasty, leaving their Arrowhead Stadium in Missouri to go to Kansas. Feels like something the football gods might, raise a brow to, but this feels like a can't say no deal for the Hunt family and the kind of organization as a whole. How do you feel about them going to Kansas?
I mean, if
everything that's been reported is accurate with what they got in terms of, the tax money and also the perks that come with it, from the rent situation to the reinvestment situation. I mean, like you said, man, I mean, if you're sitting there looking at that deal on the table, I don't know how they possibly couldn't have taken it. And if you're on the Kansas side of things, you're hoping that the economic impact and the amount of people coming and potential Super Bowls and everything makes up for that. But that, again, if all those numbers are true, that is the sweetest stadium deal for
Well,
ownership that I have ever seen in my entire life.
yeah, in the Star bonds that are allegedly paying for this, we looked into this a little bit. It is a Kansas thing. I assume others have it as well, where the local area will be paying it back. Basically, is how they look into paying back the $3 billion is everything that they're building, and hopefully Chiefs World will be able to pay for that. I just read this wrinkle for the first time, being reported by Pompliano. Kansas will own the stadium, right, which is cool. Chiefs will pay them $7 million in rent annually, but that money's not going back to the state. No, it's actually going into their own pockets, into their own account, I guess, for future repairs back into Chiefs World. Okay, so
Would like that on my house. I'd like my mortgage to go back into making my house nicer. That
now
would be awesome.
can I sell that how the Hunts sold that to Kansas? It's like, we will commit to $7 million going back into our Chiefs World to keep it nice and all that type of stuff. I think that is how they sell that. Now, granted, whatever you get that to be an agreement, it's like, okay, so I'm just allotting $7 million of our budget every single year to an account that is basically going in the future to keep this shit nice. That's a fascinating, nice, sweet deal. That's a very cushy deal.
But there's no rent then. There is no rent then.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
is the rent.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like saying I'm going to put in a pool and that's going to count as my rent.
Yep. Yeah, you just put it in a different bank account basically for next year whenever we got to do renovations. Yeah, you're just sliding it from one account to another saying we got to do renovations. Now, who's getting hired to do the renovations too? Is it Hunt Contracting?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's getting the interest on that too? Who's getting the interest on that account as it grows?
Oh, the renovations, brother. So
the stadium, more renovations.
The sell
you get some newer seats.
The sell is we're going to keep this nice so that Chiefs World continues to be a draw. That's the sell to the state is like, hey, everybody is going to come. All the stores and restaurants, we're going to be able to make money back off of that. Kansas is going to become a draw. There's going to be more concerts. There's going to be more people traveling to Kansas. Like, that's the sell. But boy, I'm assuming Kansas taxpayers are not exactly thrilled with everything they're reading today about this.
Is that stadium picture that's going around, is that legit, or is that just a rendering to show a new stadium? Because we are getting extremely cookie cutter with stadiums now. And Arrowhead is one of the, I've hated playing there because I've not had a lot of success there, but Arrowhead is one of the best environments in sports. And if we're losing Arrowheads left and right, we are in a bad way. Even Soldier Field, it's got its quirks and everything, but I like Soldier Field. It's unique. It has its own. You get snow. We get the Packers Bears like we had the other night. We can't be losing these types of atmospheres in these games. What's next? Are we gonna wipe Lambeau out?
No.
Well, that's the thing though. Lambeau is actually a good blueprint for everybody else to try, because Lambeau has the Hall of Fame, the museum, the tours, the restaurants, the bars, the things to do, and the hotels people are traveling in. Now, granted, they don't have an owner, but they're the ones that have to open their books. And the real estate was like $170 million a year or whatever, and that was from all the shit that was coming around it. So whenever other teams are selling that, and then Jerry Jones said something, I think it was reported like $70 million in revenue on game days Jerry gets versus everybody else's home games because of all the other shit around it and what's all built into it. I think that's all anybody's looking at. But to your point about designs and stuff, it's like there's only so many real groundbreaking, changing stadium designs, and everybody's trying to copy them now. Like SoFi, they're like, well, we saw what they did with SoFi, and we thought, wow, that's a good idea, so we implemented ourselves. Allegiant Stadium over there in Vegas is like a spaceship, so everybody's like, we kind of want to make it look futuristic-y because it is the future. And then have you seen the photo of what buildings were like designed back in the day versus what they're designed like now? It is not just a stadium issue. It's like everything has kind of just become like very kind of bland, as opposed to character, having character in their own different ways. So I don't want to get into a deep infrastructure design conversation, but everything is starting to look the same everywhere, and we appreciate that there's renovations and getting newer, but it's like we somehow have to hold on to
Like Buffalo.
like
Minnesota's unique. Minnesota's got a unique. It's still indoor. It still has the roof that shows light through, but they have built in. Like Minnesota is a massively underrated stadium. That place is incredible, and it's still unique. It's not the same as everywhere else. I think that place is awesome.
I agree.
That's why the Bills is really cool, though, because everyone is now doing like we got to build an indoor stadium so we can have a Super Bowl. And the Bills are saying, like, no, we're just going to put a canopy over, still outdoors, still going to be cold in Buffalo, but will be new, even though, I do not love the Bills.
Yeah, and they got those big bison out front.
Well, TBD. Okay, JJ Bott is probably going to be bigger than those bison.
Well, JJ Bott's going to have to be because it's going to pick up a ref.
That's true.
You're right.
But if those bison, they've got the message loud and clear, don't you think?
I don't know.
I think they got the message loud and clear. I don't know if they're going to abide by the loud and clear message because,
the Bills abide.
Their stadium was just on fire.
The Bills abide.
The stadium was just on fire. I don't know if they're worried about the bison.
Jage, I think I saw you already.
What happened? I missed that.
Heated seats.
Stadium was on fire?
There's just a little tech fire.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
These things, construction sites, there's always going to be fire. A lot of smoke there. I felt like that was a lot of smoke.